Father, as we come tonight, Lord, asking you to open each and every person on. Lord, look upon our city, look upon our employees, as well as our community as we meet here tonight, Lord. Let our heart be open to make decisions that you feel is right, Lord. Lord, we just thank you for all you have done for the city of Bastrop. Most of all, we thank you for what you want to do for the city of Bastrop. Continue to guide us and lead us in the way that we should go. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I think we have one announcement. Don't give them that announcement.
Yes, ma'am.
It's in your packet. It's not listed announcement, but it's July 1. Comments as it relates to items on the agenda. There being none, okay. Item number 4, discussion on potential budgets to operate a 20-employee Bastrop Police Department for fiscal year 23-24. Mr. Brown, in as much as it was your request, would you like to jumpstart the discussion?
Yes, I will. Our police officers, I think at the last meeting, they spoke about how, Chief, could y'all come up to the table, please? Man, okay, I just can't talk to people back there like, could you come to
They
the
have time for the officer. I think that's where they want to sit. Go ahead.
Well, okay. You had to leave a day fine. Chief, could you come to the mic in? You got to ask the mayor.
Yes.
You have to ask the mayor to come to the mic.
Yes, I do.
What is your question, Mr. Brown?
My question to him, what did it take for him to get his department up and running?
Okay.
We know all what the question is, what do we need to get this department up and running according to, make his dream, whatever it is, your dream, whoever dream it is.
Okay, Chief Reed.
Jesus Christ.
As I stated in the last meeting, we're gonna need 25 officers. I think you all said 20, but we need 25 altogether. We're gonna need 8 dispatchers. We have 4. We have 5. We're gonna need 4 more. 4 for each shift. 2 for each shift. Give us a total of 8. Counting Barbara Patton, the communications officer, that would give us 9 altogether. We need 12 patrol, then we'll be able to operate.
You need a total of how many officers fully, 12 or 12 plus 8 or what?
We can work it with 20, but we need 25 to be fully operational.
Okay, you're 20 off and you have 8 right now, that's correct?
Patrolmen,
Yes.
we have 7 patrolmen, we have 1 detective that can be used as a patrolman if need be.
Okay, that's 8, and your radio station, your dispatch, everybody, you have
We have 4 dispatchers.
4.
Yes. And we have 1 communications officer, which is Barbara Patton, which she can play both roles.
Okay. Well, in other words, right now, as we speak, we got 12 on schedule, is that correct?
Right now, as we speak, we got 16 employees full-time.
16?
16 employees full-time and 2 employees part-time.
Total 18.
Yes.
In the budget, we said I recall, we were budgeting for how many officers did we have in the budget, that we budgeted for in the last year budget, which the council do not have what you intend to budget for this year, because the budget have not been prepared. But Mr. Gold, how many did you budget for last year?
Working on that. Last year was 31 officers.
31.
And that 31 included dispatch also in that number.
Okay, 31 was
Yes, sir.
dispatch. And we're trying to get to 20, that's right, Chief?
Yes.
Okay, that give us
We need 25, but we can get by with 20.
many shifts is there?
We can get by with 20 in the aspect that we can go to work on nights and, do 24-hour coverage, but we're gonna need to have 2 dispatchers a shift. So
Okay.
in essence, we need 25.
Okay, but if you got 20, you can operate.
We can operate.
We can do away with this excessive expense with the sheriff department patrol, is that correct?
I can't say that. I mean,
So what can you say, chief? You
what,
sitting here like you don't know
I'm
what to say.
answering your question, Mr. Bradford. You asked me what we need to take to get the department back running.
Right.
We need 20 officers and 25 to have it fully working.
Okay, how many do we need, let me reframe my question, how many do we need to do with the sheriff department patrol?
We need 25 officers.
25 officers.
And when I say officers, I'm counting everyone's position, not just patrolmen. I'm talking about the whole police department in total.
Whole thing, we'll be able to run our department, patrol our community.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you,
With
chief,
20.
that's my question to you. With that in mind, what kind of budget do you have in mind? I mean, what do you like, you look like you're about 8 or 9 short, maybe 10?
On patrol, we're 4 short. We're actually 5. Like I said, I can use one of that detective in patrol if I have to. So we're 5 short in patrol and 4 short in dispatch.
5 in patrol, okay. What kind of salary would you need to bring them in to get those 5 people? I mean, I know we can't bring them in at $13 an hour. I think we all discussed that in the previous meeting. Have you sat down and thought about what it actually takes, salary-wise, to make this happen?
Well, I've discussed it with Ms. Sandra and the mayor. Yes, I've discussed it with Ms. Sandra and the mayor.
Well, could you discuss it with us too? Because we make the decision, if it's feasible, I'm asking
Right,
you, could you
right.
tell us, please?
Right, well, we have 3 different projections,
Mm-hmm.
and as far as the money is concerned, I gave you all an answer the last time when you all asked the competitive rate. I want to know if you want the competitive rate that would do it, or the realistic rate of what we can.
We gotta be competitive, we wanna be competitive, give us both, by the way, let's give us both. If you have both, you and Mr. Goldman in discussion, you have something you wanna submit to the council tonight to look at for approval of your, department, get you there, let's start with recruiting. Let's start with your recruiting first, okay?
Okay. Like I said, competitive rate would be about $17.50.
17.
Now, what the city can do,
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know what the city can do, but that's the competitive rate.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the competitive rate for a minute, okay? Let's look at it. Ms. Goldman, you have numbers on the competitive rate, you and Chief to discuss it, what would it cost us?
I included that in your envelope there.
And this is the email I just got here, I hadn't had a chance to look at it, I think that when I got here, the gavel went down.
I gave you a copy of the agenda, and also I gave you.
Is that Plan A?
Well, Plan A was, what Ms. Moore mentioned about, the new hire, putting it at $17.50.
Okay,
The new hire, and then I looked up some of the ranks that we have, so you compare the starting pay versus go up to, through the captain on patrol. So I gave that for y'all to look at, and then the last page was where I gave you the spreadsheet that compared, giving the new hire the $17.50 and go up, and leaving the rest of it the way it was, and then the other one was to give an increase of $2 up from patrol on up to the chief.
So-
And what that is in salaries breaking down.
So the new hire, this 1 million, is that based on all 31 slots?
No, sir, we ended up, somebody mentioned a 20 man shift. Chief, I know Mr. Green wasn't here, do you wanna repeat what you said for his, since he missed that?
And Chief, you mind staying? I got a point of information.
Okay, could you repeat that, Ms. Sands, the last part you wanted?
He was talking about the 20 man shift.
Right.
Mr. Green wasn't here when he
Okay.
first mentioned that.
Okay, we can operate with a 20 man personnel, but you're gonna run into a problem with dispatch. We're gonna have to have 2 dispatchers a shift, so we had to figure it for 25 instead of 20.
So how many are we operating on right now?
Right now, we have 16 full-time and 2 part-time. We have 4 dispatchers.
So Chief, got a point of information.
Okay.
Okay, if you gave $1, cause look, based on this, based on what Ms. Sandra said, that's not gonna work. You 1750 with patrolman starting leaving, the other one's the same, that's not gonna work because your sergeant don't make about 15. So you can't put the patrolman over the sergeant.
Well,
Don't make
the
sense right
chief mentioned at the last meeting, he said that wouldn't work, but I just, because this mayor brought it up, Ms. Moore, I just did the figures so y'all would know that.
I know, but you know, this don't make, this is not logical.
It's not.
So what I'm getting at is, Chief Reed, if we gave, based on my analysis of it, I did some computing myself.
Okay.
I just wanna see, am I counting close? If you gave $1 across the board raise to every employee, that's $1, I come up with like 41,600 roughly, is that about right?
That's about right.
That's what you add to it, am I right?
Right.
Okay, I just point information, so circle that number and put a start by it. You just gonna add 41,600 to the budget, right? Am I not right?
Right.
Okay, that's $1 raise,
Right.
and that's just a fraction of what it costs. What was your budget last year?
2 million.
2 million, right?
Right.
We paid the sheriff department about roughly last year, just roughly 300-some thousand.
I don't want to misspeak. 300 and something. It's over 300.
I'm getting there with you.
Right.
Okay, so if I compute it right, I'm trying to get there. If I compute it right, we're not gonna look at the people. We're gonna look at billets like they do in the military, like you do on your job.
Right.
Okay, so we look at 3 billets that's gonna be filled 24 hours a day.
Right.
Somebody's gonna fill them,
Right.
right? So if your guys fill them, the start, if he went up to, just say, $17 an hour, that's on the low end.
Okay.
Roughly, we just rounded it out.
Okay.
If you fill those slots all day long, all the time, it's gonna be like $74,000 a year.
Right. In
Times 3, that'll be 222,000 roughly, right?
Right.
For us to fill those slots.
Right.
Those same 3 slots that's gotta be filled, if you fill them with the sheriff department, just roughly $36 an hour, they come up to $157,000 a year per slot, pretty much. So grand total is about 471,000. Am I close to being right with numbers?
Talking about using
With
36.
yes.
Estimate of 36
Yes,
an
sir.
hour. That's pretty close to it.
So if we could figure out a way to use our people, we're gonna be half versus we doing the same thing. It's gonna be half of what the sheriff's department doing roughly, just roughly.
If you're figuring at that rate of $36 per year.
Well, you said 300-something thousand, and we almost at that now.
Right.
So it's gonna come up to about, because you're not gonna go down on the rate. It's gonna come up to about 400-something thousand when you do 12 months. When you do 12 months.
12 months.
So that's a fair assessment.
It's pretty close. Pretty close.
I have a question.
So,
Miss Tappins.
I would finish it. What I'm getting at, it's just gonna cost 41,000 extra, right?
Right.
Now, since about a year and a half ago, we've added several new positions within the city. You don't have to answer, I'll answer for you. Yes. We've added about 5 new positions. Based on my analysis, I'm gonna give it Ms. Goldman, because I asked for something and I don't have it. I'm gonna get with Ms. Golden, she gonna hopefully provide it for me the next meeting, because I don't have it right now. But those 5 positions, brand new positions, wasn't no study, wasn't no nothing. We just felt that we needed those positions. It comes up to about $145,000. That's not including insurance and none of that. That's added to the deficit. That's added to the budget with no study or nothing. What y'all asking for is a fraction of that. And we gotta go through all of this to get a dollar raise, but we bring on new positions and we don't do a study, and the budget ain't took a lick. Based on this Goldman assessment and the auditor, the budget is still in the green, it's not in the red, it's going good. We're not losing anything. Revenue's projected to be the same. So my problem is, based on what you have researched, do you believe it's feasible for the police department to get across the board? And you as being the chief, you are the shepherd of your department. I want you to tell this board, do you believe it's feasible?
Yes. Across the board raise, yes.
No more questions.
That's the only kind of raise that we should get.
I have 3 questions.
Mr. J. Green?
Ms. Angela, you go ahead.
No, Ms. Taggart.
Okay, I just have a question. Since, Chief, the fiscal year is about to end,
Yes, ma'am.
the budget, you said, was $2 million.
Yes, ma'am.
How much have you used out of that $2 million?
I don't have all of the expenditures because she's still working on it, but,
Close, just around, close to.
we usually have around close to 300,000 remaining, something like that, 207 to 307,000 left.
Okay, all right.
375.
Ms. Angela, I got
300 something, you know.
Roughly
Yeah.
300.
And I just have one more thing to say. I have a different feeling. I know Mr. Green said $1. I feel like we should raise our patrolman to that $17.50 an hour, the new hire patrolman. The other people in the department, I feel, should get maybe like a $2 raise. I think that would be fair. Also, I know it's not on the agenda, but we will have to address the fire department just as well as we do your department.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. That's it.
Mr. D. Green?
Hey, Ms. Sandra, I have a few questions. So I'm looking at the budget that you guys put in our package. From last year, it was for the salaries, $1,068,000 that we had budget for. That's pertaining to those 31 slots, correct? Okay, so other 31 slots, so far we used $879,000. Of the $879,000, $400,000 is going towards roughly $400,000 going towards the sheriff department, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so even at this moment, we like 188,000 in the black. Okay, follow me. So last year we budgeted for the same 31 slots. Would mean we budgeted for the same $1,068,000. How many, Chief? I'm gonna need you right here, Chief.
Okay.
Last year, how many police officers did we have at that moment?
Last year, we had roughly the same amount.
Okay, good. So we have roughly the same amount. The difference is this year we had to pay out roughly $400,000 to the sheriff department. Last year we didn't have to pay that $400,000 to the sheriff department because we wasn't tied into the contract, right?
We weren't in the contract.
We got in the contract in April,
Okay.
so we had April, May, and June.
Oh, I still follow you. Okay, so what I want to know is, even as of right now, if you add what we paying the sheriff department, we still in the black about 188,000. So that would consider a surplus, right?
Well, I would say it's a surplus, but we did not use it.
So where do that money go?
It stays in there and you forward it over to use for the next budget.
Okay, listen, follow me. So we pouring over at this moment, we pouring over 188,000 going forward to this fiscal year coming up in July 1st, right? Being that we didn't have the contract with the sheriff department last year, then that surplus also should have been added as well. Cause we never been staffed up with 31 police officers and I'm looking at between 2005 and 2006. So each year we budget, because you said last meeting we budget for 31 slots. So our 31 slots gonna be $1,068,000. Being that we never had 31 police officers, that means that we always had a surplus carried on to the following year. Where's the funds for that? Because if I was to just add, if we used to go by adding the sheriff department, we looking at over 5 years, we looking at almost another $1 million. So we looking at 2005, that's the last time we had 31 police?
Right.
Okay, we looking at, so what is that, 2005, over 20 years.
Right.
So each year had a surplus because we would never fill those 31 slots. So where that money going? Or where is it?
In the general fund. That's
So-
what we're using to carry over. You never really wanna spend all your money, cause even though you pass the budget, there are things that you don't know happens. And if you don't have the cash, then you're not gonna cover the expenses by the time the year's there.
I get what
So
you're
I know you're saying that we got that money, but we save that money, and so that we carry it over, it's kinda like a savings account.
I get that, Ms. Anderson. So this is what I'm asking. Based off, we never been fully staffed since 2005, we looking at 20 plus years. Each year carry a surplus. Then that general fund money should exceed what we budget for a year, probably like 2 or 3 times more.
Okay, so when we have that.
We
budget-
just talking about just off salaries.
Right,
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we budget, it's right here, we budget $1 million.
right.
And we just spent $879,000, as we all know, $400,000 of that went to the sheriff department. Taking it that we didn't have the sheriff department previous years, that's $500,000 on top of what we carry on with them. So we looking at averages to carry over with surplus just in the last 5 to 10 years, about $500,000. So do your math. I don't got my phone. Do $500,000 times 10.
So it's been feasible. We just gotta muster the encourage it. It's been in the funds. He just broke it down to you. If it's over 20 years and you still.
Hold on, let me have a moment now. Let me have a moment. Yeah, I'm still here. Because each fiscal year, correct me if I'm wrong, going into another fiscal year, you start over as new, zero. What I mean is that you're gonna receive the same money you received the year before.
You're hoping to have, get the same.
I'm sorry, you're gonna budget the same money you budgeted for the year before, right?
Minus any grants or any other.
So even if we go through the whole the process of each of our department, right? So if we over budget, then each department, as we look, we understand each department taking on a surplus. Each year we taking on a surplus. Like what do I just want to know what funds do that surplus money go to?
It goes into the general fund of our daily operations to pay salaries and any other expenses it has.
Just like for this $1 million, that funds go to general funds to pay the police department or general funds and all.
General fund for every employee.
So we taking
It's all the city money.
I get it. So we taking the surplus from the police department and into the general funds.
Yes, because they're paid out of the general fund.
I get it. So this is what I'm saying. So is it possible as a councilman we can see how the money, the surplus going into the general fund? So that way
Yes, if you look at your budget, you'll see the item where the previous year, we put that in there to make the budget, because you got money left over. You put it in there, and that's how you come up with the revenue for the next year. Because as you rock and roll, you're adding money, but you're also spending money.
right.
So you have to have that left over. So you would know that that's what you can spend.
Coming from like even just for example the police department.
Well, they don't have a revenue just for them, it's all the city.
Yeah, I know
So
that.
say you, at the end of the year, after we close out this month, we pay all of our bills, and then when you get through, then you, whatever the fee, if it's $100,000, you know you've got that into your revenue. That's how you get your money to do that. You've gotta have it there, so you know how much you can make your budget to spend, because you can't spend more than what you bringing in.
I know.
Yeah.
So what I was asking because it looked like we carrying on $500,000 $500,000 to $600,000 just based off of the police department.
And when you do that, too, you gotta
And
keep
each-
in mind that cash might be grant money that you're.
No, I'm only based off what we budget.
Okay.
I'm only based off, no grant money, I'm based off what we budget, because we budgeted $1 million, and as it looked like without the sheriff department, normally we spending 300, I'm gonna say 300, 400,000 with our police department. So they look like, that's a surplus of like $600,000 each year.
Yeah, the revenue doesn't say, oh, police department, you saved this money, it's dedicated to you.
That's not what I'm saying. I just wanna know.
The reason why even our fire and police had more leftovers because they didn't have the staff to spend that.
Right.
And we budgeted, whatever the chief says we need to do, that's, we budgeted that slot for that.
Okay.
So we didn't spend it, he's been having to pay overtime to cover that shift, because you have to have 2 people on that truck.
So what money we get just from particularly the police department, when you put it in the general funds, which department, because apparently the firemen and the police department is over budget, right? Because they understand.
They don't
Correct.
understand. Yes.
So in other words, then you would utilize that money in what other department?
It goes into the city's revenue, and then you make your expenses for the whole city. It's not earmarked. If the chief don't spend it, we say, oh, you've got 500,000 over, so this year you can spend
That's not,
500,000 over.
I know, that's not what I'm saying, Miss Angela. Because what I'm saying is, if each department budgets just like the city of, just like the police department budget, right? So I'm trying to figure out what department each year have to utilize that $600,000. Because it look as to me, since we understaffed in every department, everybody is pretty much over budget when it comes to salaries.
Well, not everybody, there are
Oh,
some.
let's just say we say one. But what I'm saying is, if we just doing the math off just 10 years and $600,000, I want to know which department, because I get it going general funds to take care of other expenses across the board. But what other expenses, because if everybody is understaffed, that means everybody is over budget. So you won't need that $600,000 to cover this particular program like Park and Rec. Park and Rec, let me just finish. Park and Rec, they gotta be said we understaffed. So if we understaffed, that means that we budget over than what we have. So that means we budget more than what we gonna spend for it. So that's a surplus there. Apparently the fire department is the same way. They understaffed. That's a surplus. The police, one of the biggest surplus I was just looking at this so far. This $500,000 to $600,000 a year, and we looking at this since 2005, 2006 maybe. So all this surplus money, where's it?
It's true. One of the things that, even though they were in the revenue, okay, when we applied for the grant.
No, Mr. Angela, no, you cannot say grants when you budget salaries. You and I both know that. You cannot say grants when you budget salaries.
But what I can say is the parks grants was so much, but we had to come up with a match. That match comes out of the general fund. The state didn't pay fully, or is not gonna pay fully for all that
Let's
money.
stay there.
We had to come up with that money.
I'm sorry. So how much did we have to come up with?
Well, it's gonna be over 200,000.
Still, we have a surplus of $600,000.
That's just one project.
So how much have we?
And then we re-roofed the building at the driving license building.
Okay.
I mean, those kind of things adds up, and that comes out of the revenue of the general fund.
Ms. Sandra, I get that it's coming out of the general funds. I get that. But what I don't get is each of our departments is creating a surplus each year. I don't know the last time the city of Bastrop been fully staffed. I've been in here since 2017. So each year we create a surplus. It's hard for me to believe with the amount of money just off the police department surplus that we utilizing it each year. I would like, is there any way that the council can see that?
Yes,
Okay, yeah.
I mean, you would definitely get that.
Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Governor. I'm not much of a number guy, but I deal with, procedures. Now, this is June 30th. We have to sign the budget by June 30th, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Have there been public participation in this upcoming budget?
Well, it's definitely been some, about the staff and stuff.
No.
Y'all have getting your
I'm
input.
talking about the whole budget. Have you prepared a budget and posted according, are you familiar with
I think, yes, sir, I did.
Louisiana Revised Statute 39, 1301, 13, I'm gonna skip a couple, public, preparation, 1307, and 1308. 1308, inspection of the proposed budget. You don't have a proposed budget here for anybody to inspect, not just council or even the public. And that's Louisiana statute that we operate under, is that correct?
That's correct.
But why isn't it prepared?
Well, right now, the biggest two departments, I don't have a direction. We put these together, and now I did
Wow,
the direction, yeah.
I'm not an
So,
inspection either.
even tonight, now, today was the first time I've heard the council talk about the firemen. That's not been, brought in a meeting for me. I have not heard that.
Ms. Goldman, I'm gonna ask you again. Revised statute Louisiana 39, 1304 says, I think it's 4, let me make sure, that this budget should be, excuse me, this budget should be prepared 15 days prior to signing for inspection by the public.
Yes, sir.
Why haven't it been done? What is the administration? What are you doing? I'm not just you, what is this whole administration doing? I'm not picking at you, but I know you,
Mr. Bradford,
I know you work hard. I know you work hard, because I've been working pretty hard myself, and I feel bad. But we gotta get this straightened out before we can talk about any kind of money.
I agree.
And we gotta get this straightened out. And this, I hear these numbers, I'm not the math guy, okay? I'm not the math guy. But, Mr. Green is, and I respect that. If I'm hearing right, the lowest paid officer in this, your department chief is what? The lowest paid officer.
Entry level patrolman,
How much is that?
1312.
So we're gonna have to bring him up to $17 as well, if we bring in recruits in at $17.
Yes.
Okay, see, I'm getting to the number people, okay, I'm not a number guy. But it would be very unfair to say, I've been here for 2 years, I'm making $13 an hour. Here comes a new kid on the block coming in at 17. See, I heard that in other departments taking place, and they call hardship, not your department, but some people within our city government department. Well, they brought new people in, I've been here for 30 years, they brought new people in, that's not fair. I think when we calculate this budget, let's keep in mind that where we are and what we have to bring people into, at the level, if we come in at $17 an hour, and which we should, that means we gotta bring you have 8, you gotta bring all those officers up to maybe 18, make them feel, and I want the bookkeepers, the number keeper, whoever you are, to keep that in consideration, because that makes common sense. That's common sense. And now, that's the same for going across the board for all employees. That's the same with the fire department. You can't bring, same thing for you, we gotta do this right all for it to work. And I think if the number of people sit down and say, hey, our lower officer is at 13, we gotta bring him to 17, and then, to 18, excuse me, and bring this entry person in at 17. And maybe after 1 year, 2 years, and another thing too, they should, when they come in, but they won't leave, they should sign a 3 to 4 year contract that they're gonna stay.
They sign contract.
Bastrop have a history of training officer, and where you don't down for a high pay. Now, are you familiar with, give me one thing here, let me find out, I'm checking them papers, like I say, I am not much in numbers, but I try to keep up with.
Can I ask the first question while you get to this?
Sure, I have to, let me ask. Are you familiar with the bill, House Bill number 563.
No, sir.
It just came out today. I think it was, I made this copy for you. That's why I wish you would sit there. I'm said right there. That give officers at the entry level a $5,000 incentive, and they have to stay at least 2 years. And that's something that just came in the House bill today. And I want to share that with you, Chief. But I hope the number of people is understanding where we're going with this, because we gotta take care of the person at the bottom, bring them up there. We're gonna bring in new entrants. We're gonna bring those people up too. Go ahead, Chief.
If I may, I propose that we just do a straight across the board raise for everybody.
Everybody.
I agree with that, but we have to tackle the problem of the entry-level pay.
Right.
We want to give everybody a raise across the board, but you need to bring up entry level, and like this is your word, competitive. We have to be competitive, because if you don't, you're in the same problem, because you cannot recruit. You want to recruit and sustain. Those two. You have to. And like Ms. Goldman said that the surplus money goes into a saving account. And I like that. A saving account is used for what? When we have personal saving account, if we get into the financial hardships, lights gonna get cut off, we need to pay college tuition, we go into our saving account in tough times. These are tough times. And sometimes you gotta just figure out how we're gonna do it. Stop the bleed. I've said that every meeting. We have to stop the bleed in the police department and fire department so we can retain and recruit employees. We have to.
Hey, speaking on the level of retention, that's what I'm speaking. It's been my experience. I've done research on it. I've talked to other chiefs. I've been to the latest chiefs conferences. If you're going to retain your officers, your senior officers who are going to train those new recruits, you're going to have to give a flat across the board.
We agree with that. We agree with that.
But it's going to be hard to retain them if you have an entry-level patrolman making the same thing.
No, Chief, we would give the others raise too. If you have an entry-level patrolman that has been here still a year, they deserve that across the board raise too. That's what we're saying.
I understand.
Everybody.
Okay.
I believe I heard
Mr.
Mr.
Green,
D.
go ahead.
Green.
Go ahead.
Mr. D. Green, I believe.
I'm gonna respect my elders, I'm gonna let them go first.
Okay. Well, Mr. J. Green.
I understand what Chief is saying. And based on these, this ring, I said, this is an optical illusion right here. When you gave me this paper, because nobody in their right mind, I agree with what councilmen are saying. You give a $17 hour raise, people don't realize what our captain don't make but 18. The sergeant don't make but 14. So if you're gonna give a patrolman a $17.50, you're gonna have to give the sergeant pretty much that different gap in there, because he don't make but 14 right now. So therefore, it's gonna be raising all the way across the board. I guess what Chief said, if you give a across the board raise, it'll be equally yoked all the way across.
All the way across.
And I got another point of information for Ms. Sanders. I want to know, are we in compliance or are we out of compliance? Does the law require the budget to be done on the 15th? The budget is July, let me finish, July 1st. And it's supposed to be 15 days before July 1st. That falls about like June 15th somewhere. We don't have a budget.
We did have it, but when all this come in here, it's not a good.
No. It says the 15th. It should be prepared for review 15 days prior to the 1st. So,
Yes, sir.
okay. So we out of compliance right now, right?
I am.
Say it. I
I
can't.
am, yes,
Oh,
sir.
yes, sir.
I have one more question.
Mr. D. Green.
Ms. Angela, when you guys go to prepare the budget, right? How often do you guys, so apparently you guys don't never change like the police salary budget, right? Y'all budget the same because it's for the 31 slides. So we got that understood.
Okay, the last time we did it was in 21, just before Mayor Cotton left. I think it was in March. We did adjust what we call the base pay for the police department alone.
Okay, it's just for the police department, so,
So
I guess,
that changed it, and what they do, there's like, I don't remember the exact breakdown of it right here, but it's the starting pay of a police officer, which comes out to be the 1312.
okay,
And then what he did, I don't remember what it was, 1122. That's what they got paid, the starting pay was 1122. He raised it to 1312. And what he did was he kept the differential between the ranks. As always, it's like right now, if y'all go to $17.50, then that's $4.38. So each base pay would go up $4.38 for the police department.
okay,
And that way everybody, it keeps the gap between the ranks, and then you don't have a captain and a sergeant making less than the entry level.
what I was trying to ask you, like, different departments, such as, like, the city garage expenses, their salaries, the fire department expenses, their salaries, like, when was the last time that them numbers altered?
They, after we did the police department, but before Mayor Cotton left in June of 21, he went back and gave all the other departments something.
So it increased.
It did, and now that he's told me, he said what everybody got. They don't have this patrolman or this fireman gets that. They just,
No, I was just talking about when you,
so he did do that. There were about 6 employees that did not get any increase whatsoever.
okay, so,
But all the other, if you wasn't a fire or police, then they got that. Now, we're mandated by state law that we have to give firemen 2%. If you've been here 3 years on July 1, you get the 3. But when you get 23 years, we do not have to give them 2% after that.
okay, so like the building maintenance expense, their salaries, when you budget it, did that number change over the years?
Yes, it did, because they have more people in there.
So it increased.
So there's an increase, yeah.
Okay, cause even with just off building, the reason I'm asking because if we all just do the numbers on salary, like I said previous, we always over budget. Not just off the building maintenance expense itself, we don't carry a $28,000 surplus over to the next year. Just like the administration expense, that's $17,000. The city garage, that's purchase department, we gonna carry another $20,000 surplus over.
It won't be that in person, because we don't budget that extra purchase. We got 2 employees.
Well, this was on this paper,
Well, that was that budget there, yeah.
so it's gonna be
I'm
different.
just saying, if we don't have that kind of budget in purchasing, to have excess, not what you're saying.
You say, what was that?
No, never mind. I hope so. I hope we do have that, but I don't think so, because we only have, I don't even budget for overtime for that department, because we have comp time.
Okay, so how you, hold on, Mr. Burke.
Oh, good.
That's an old budget. Yeah, that's.
This last year budget,
Yes, it is.
this just last year budget.
Yes, sir.
So this one, maybe she can help you here. So you saying purchases, let me go to, let's see, the garage.
When you look at that, when you look on the left, that was the previous budget that we amended, and on the right is the year that we're in right now.
Right, so we budgeted for, purchase department, we budgeted for $52,000. So we only spent $49,000. So what are you saying? It won't be like,
For that year, we probably won't, because I just have 2 employees, and we don't.
so that's what I'm asking too. So do that number change over the year?
Yeah, it does, because it depends on, if somebody comes in with more experience, then they get a little bit more.
So
If the budget can keep it, yes,
It
but
increases.
if it's somebody that's just out of high school, they don't have anything, then we wouldn't pay them that much, because they don't have the years' experience or the education, you know.
So the street expense, do they say
Well,
something?
that depends on what they can do. If they're an operator, they got CDL, if they drove a tractor, then they
We taking over to the
right.
next year.
And there was slots in public works that didn't get filled for whatever reason. Sometimes they use, work release and all that. We don't have to pay retirement benefits on that. So, you know, that's their decision at who they hire.
Okay, Mr. Bradford?
Ms. Goldman, as you know that I requested some information for you. I find it very difficult to do any kind of budgeting when you do not know what you're budgeting, what's in each department. This letter I provided to you, I said, please provide me with the remaining revenue balance in each department as of today. Then this council could look at what we have, what's carried over, because we almost did the money's here. I mean, let us help you, I guess, in a sense. And I think we got some number of people down there. We got some people that may have a little knowledge, but I asked for this. And airport, I wanted to see what was in each department, from the airport to the building control, building permit, inspection, code enforcement, zoning, fire department. These are the departments we have. Stop me if I'm wrong. Public works, park and recreation, police department, purchase department, that Mr. Green just spoke of, sewer department, zoning, development department, and also all city Bastrop bank accounts. I'm gonna say it again. This council is entirely to all city Bastrop bank accounts. We have the responsibility at this council, look in your charter, of the welfare of the finance of the city of Bastrop. As well, we have the right to inspect any or all property that belongs to the city of Bastrop. Now, if we don't get this, how do we help ourselves? How do we help the police department? How do we help the fire department? How do we help the local people? We would need to serve the people, make sure our city operates. Please be more transparent with us in the future, okay? And I do all I can in my heart to make it work. I'm serious. That's all I ask for, transparency, you know. And we can get past this, because we can all sit down at the table here and say, we got $5, well, what we gonna do with the $5, you know? Break it down in 30, 40 ways. It ain't that complicated. We're making it complicated. We're not transparent with one another. The chief, police, feel free. Chief, fire, feel free. All the departments, they should feel free to say, this is what we need to operate. It is our responsibility to look at that budget. And look, this is what we have, this is what we can do, and what we can't do. We got to be in compliance right now. Legislature come here and say, hey, you didn't meet your 15-day requirement. Some citizens can walk to the door and say, I know nothing about the budget, never heard of it. You didn't tell me. And the law says that. And here we sit as the elected officials of this community, and we don't even have it. We don't have it. Come on now. Administrator, I'm going to say that whoever had it, or the mayor had administrator, please, deal with your administration, because I'm going to share one thing, because you had something here about the grant. If we don't sign this budget, we may lose the grant to the Unity Street sewer property. We may lose the park and recreation grant. But let me just know with you. That grant was signed, approved in December last year. It should have been bidded out within 30 days after we got it. And we just passed that at the last council meeting, and they charged us $250 a day. Pencils, y'all put that on, please. I'm not going to try to add that up. I deal with what I do. And put the pencil on that. 30 days from December 22nd, I think. Don't hold that day. But we just approved to bid that out in our last regular city council meeting. I made the motion. And that was almost 90 days, times 250. Somebody got how much money that we lost? Somebody got me dead. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna do the best I can. By everybody. How much? How much? I just wanna know how much we lost on the rent. How much? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't get on with that.
Ms. Goldman, I asked when I came to your office the other day. I'm city of Bastrop get a raise last year?
Yes. Yes, they did.
The year before?
Yes.
Okay. But when it comes to our police officers, we gotta do a study to give them our, no, finish, please. I didn't say you. I'm not talking about you doing the study. I'm saying it's always a problem. We're gonna fall short. We don't wanna lay off people. But when we got new positions that wasn't budgeted because it was it was necessary for the city to get those jobs. It wasn't in the budget. But we hired those people anyway. New creation, about 5 jobs. And based on your assessment, listening to you the other meeting, the budget have not taken a hit. So why is it so complicated? If you can bring on, it's like an $8, I'm gonna use a low end. If you brought a new employee in, you paid them $8 an hour. You brought them $10 an hour. But that's gonna come up to like 16 some a year. But we got a problem with giving our police officers a raise. But we don't have no problem hiring new positions. I didn't say filling billets. I'm talking about creating new job positions. It wasn't budgeted, but somehow we managed to survive. And we striving right now as a city. And we have created new jobs. So he said, he got 16, say 4 do pretty good. If you can hire 5 additional people and they just want a few $1 hour raise, but you gave them an $8 hour raise because they was new positions. Why is it so complicated to sit down and come up with a formula and the police chief said it's doable? Now if he don't know his figures, that's on him, but he runs his department. He did the numbers. I'm sure the fire chief have done the same thing. All we got to do is listen to their complaints, and their problem is that they don't have enough manpower, and they can't retain manpower, and they can't recruit manpower because the wages are low. So you got an option. Either you deal with it now, because everybody knows, no job is going to come to an unsafe city. So if you closing at 6, crime rate is astronomical, going out the roof, and they look and say they want to pay police officers to try to be safe. You got a choice. You either pay now and make the city safe, or you're going to die slow, because the only way we get revenues is through pretty much taxation and businesses. And if you get businesses, we don't have to go to before the public and ask for them to pass no taxes, because revenues are generated self. But they're not going to come to an unsafe city. So I'm asking this council to listen to our chief. I'm asking this mayor, the honorable mayor, to give it some consideration. Is over with. Talking is over with. We need to just do it. They done showed you the figures. Mr. Green came up with some numbers. The chief came up with some numbers. He said I was just about on to his numbers. So everybody ain't wrong. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to take a stand somewhere. Either you pay now or pay later. And I think Bastrop has the capacity to do better, because a safe city is going to attract jobs. You're going 513 when they come to an unsafe city. That's the trash can. This is a global economy. We compete with people all over the world. And you can't even get it right with the police department, because there's always a problem, but we can add a job because we feel like it's in the best interest of the city. What about the citizens? They deserve better. And I think this council, and I ask you guys to listen to the chief, stop talking about it, and let's go ahead and do it. And I ask Ms. Sandra, with all due respect, whatever this council decides to do, let's try to make it work.
Hey, Ms. Sandra, I have another question.
Mr. D. Green?
So the 31 slots that we budget for, right? Just what I'm trying to figure out. So if we budget for 31 slots, of course we short. And if we wanted to give the ones that's there already a raise, we still would save money, because now we still still don't have to pay for retirement, Medicare, and insurance because we already paying them.
That's true.
You get what I'm saying? So if you have a police officer, just for example,
You're right.
if you have a police officer there, and we have a slot for $13 an hour, and that slot considered retirement, Medicare, and insurance, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that one particular slot. So if you was to disperse what we budget for that particular slot across the board, we still would save money because if we already have police on staff, we don't have to pay the retirement, Medicare, and insurance because they're already on staff.
Well, you will be, if you give them raises, you'll be paying more.
Well,
You're right,
yeah.
you're absolutely right. It won't affect their benefits as insurance, but it will their FICA and their Medicare
Right.
and their retirement,
Right.
yes, you're right.
This is like I'm sorry. What I was saying, that's pretty much like the same with any department. Just say we go to public works or park and rec, and we have 5 slots that we budget for, and 3 people left, and the 2 people that's remaining, right? So the other 3 spots is we still budget for is empty. So we was paying them $10 an hour. You hear me? So that means we still have some money to increase the ones that's their pay rate, because we still gonna save money regardless because we don't have to pay, because they already managed to get it done with 2 people. You get what I'm saying?
Well, I get that. Now, Public Works, we've got some mowers that's been ordered since November and have not come in. They need more tractor drivers, so when those tractors get here, they wanna hire some people to do that.
Okay.
Because they got tractors but nobody to drive them. So, in that case, they may not have had been a slot there.
So do you have the number of how many slots that you budget for when it comes to salary in the public works
I
department?
don't have it with it, but yes.
I'm saying, can you give me that?
Okay, we're veering away from the,
We talking about the budget, man. This everything.
discussion of the potential budget to operate a 20-employee Bastrop Police Department for fiscal year 20.
So do you need me to expand the general for action?
We're not gonna be able to do any kind of budget till we actually do what we are, Mayor, on all departments. I mean, I know we're specifically talking about the police department, but we're gonna have to know the number and the dollar that's available to do any type of budget for any department. And
Right.
again, it's just a matter, I guess we'll be meeting again soon, before the 30th, real soon, because we need to know what we have to work with.
Right. So
You
this.
asked me to budget my household, and I do not know what I have. It's
So,
impossible for anybody out there, they'll tell you that, like I said, not, but like, we need to know, please be transparent with the board here, or with concern, with both, I think those things I asked you for in the letter, I know you have it. I appreciate you can get it to us expeditiously, so we can move forward and try to meet it, but I have a clear understanding. Chief, any input you'd like to put in, the fire chief or any other department here, like to put input they wanna put in on this, we need to get together and do it quickly. We already out of compliance, and revised statute 14-134 talk about malfeasance, talk about employees, officers, and all of us. And I ain't gonna go deal with you. Okay? Now 14 tell revised statute 14 tell us, we done revised statute 13 talk about malfeasance officers. Let's get together quick as we can and do this. So I'm kicking the can, let's do this. I think everybody got an open mind to do this. We might have to do it off the record, just sitting in the tables or something, that everybody go bring their plan, because you should have each department head plan by now, because we already outside the compliance. You should have every department head, the chief, if you haven't got yours together, get your raise, chief, get your raise together, what you need, just ask for it. Have not because you have not. Let's do this. And then we'll look and see how we're gonna distribute the budget.
Yeah,
We gotta make it fair to everybody. We're not gonna try to override anybody or underride anybody. Make sure. If Chief McCann is making $14 an hour now, but we're gonna bring people in at 13, at 17, bring him on up. Make him feel, let's make people feel good about what they're doing.
yeah.
That's
Okay.
Ms. Anderson, can I say something?
I think Bishop was looking at my piece of paper while I was writing all my notes on it. Because he said most of what I was gonna say. But my question was, Goldman, how much money do we have available in the, general fund left over, an estimate?
The estimate, because we've been paying stuff, I don't want
Within, even if it's within $300,000, I'm good.
probably that.
About 300.
How much? I'm sorry.
She said 300.
300,000 we have in the general fund?
Ain't no way.
General fund? We got the 300,000? How we been paying a $16 a meeting
I'm looking
budget
at
with $300,000?
300,000 is fine.
I don't think she understood the question.
I think she did.
$300,000?
I'm guessing, we're still getting revenue in, I'm guessing.
Okay, just basic, right now, as of today, we don't,
I don't want to hold it.
okay, yeah, let's do that.
I don't
Let's
know.
do that.
How many
Let's do that when we get together.
Well, let
I
me
think
just
that should
make,
be the board.
can I make a statement? Just one-
Administrative discussion.
Okay, wait just a minute. Mr. Green,
Well, I was gonna say, Ms. Andrew, I can just get those numbers for you later, because I think we all, we all have the same heart to take care of the people we have here as well. The police department, of course, city workers as well. I mean, for them to get the job done as understaffed, it's just, our way of trying to take care of everybody, if possible. So in order for me to, speak logic, I just want to see the numbers, so I know.
let's go. Let's take a brief recess. Let's go. You okay?
Let's get through.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want,
Wait, one at a time. I think I heard Mr. J. Green first.
when I say out of compliance, I don't want to be misconstrued. What I'm saying, I know Ms. Goldman, they work hard and they work diligent in that office. They understand, it's not her fault. I'm saying it should have been done by the 15th. She's got a complicated job, and her job, I commend you for your job well done, but I'm just stating the obvious.
No,
That's
it's
supposed
not
to be on the
necessary.
15th. I know it's supposed to be done on the 15th. So I'm talking to the chairperson. What I'm getting at, we have to do it by the 15th so the council can have a chance to look at it and say it's not fair for the council to look at something on the 30th or the 31st. And then I go tell my constituents, they say, well, why did you sign it? You ain't got a chance to read it. You see how difficult it is for them to compare it, and we supposed to sit and look at it in 24 hours? That's the only thing I'm saying. If it's gonna take starting earlier, let's do it so we can be in compliance. Nobody's accusing nobody of doing nothing wrong or dragging or lagging or anything. We just gotta have it done so we can do our due diligence, because that's what we sit here for, to make choices. We gotta make competent decisions. It is not fair for you or anybody else to bring something at the last minute and say sign it. That's not the way business works. And it don't work nowhere in the United States. And if I can get somebody to do that, and I just write up something, it's just like you're doing a rubber stamp when you can't read it. And that's not what we sit here for. We sit here to be stewards of the people's money and try to do what we can to make Bastrop better. And I think that is the ultimate goal of each councilman, everybody up here. I'm sure the mayor also. It seems like it's squabbling, but when something has been neglected for so long, kicking the can down the road, this is what it comes to. People got raises. I asked that for a reason. People got raises, but why is it so difficult when it comes to the firemen and the police officers? Because if your fire rating go down, everybody's gonna be upset because insurance is gonna go up. So let's try to hold what we got, stop the bleeding, and let's try to get some officers, try to make us a safe city. And that's all. We just need to come together as a community and as a council and as a mayor and do what's right and stop just saying we can't, because ultimately you're gonna have to, or you ain't gonna survive. And nobody's gonna rescue us but us. You can only save yourself. We will sit here as council members and as a mayor. this job is difficult, but you gotta make difficult decisions. Don't wait on federal funds, grants. You have to go ahead and do what you have to do. The chief doesn't spoke. He says feasible. If the chief says feasible, let's go based on what he said. The fire chief says it's feasible. They the one runs their department. So let's just, like Michael Jordan say, let's just do it. Mike.
I have one other question. When is the next meeting? How soon can we meet, Chief Executive, Mayor, would you, call that day? I think I heard you say the last meeting, you can meet every day. I can too. I mean, what's our next meeting to?
We will have a budget, as Mr. Goldman spoke, with the demands that have been coming our way on a daily basis, bills that have been coming in, and the administration wants to give something as accurate as possible. Are there any other discussions?
Well, you can answer the question. We will have a meeting before.
We ain't gonna have a budget. She has been working on one to have a budget for public inspection. A lot of pressure has been on her. A lot of pressure.
I understand that. I think we can cover that. But the question is, now we know there's a pressure on, when will we meet again? Okay, because the 30th is, what's the date? The 20th? 21st? We got 9 days.
Okay.
I mean, I would like to meet and hear from the other department heads before we do any type of inspection and see what Mr. Green, Jay Green, D Green, and everybody that's come up with, you know, the department head, and we can say this is what we're gonna present to the public. I mean, we just can't come out and don't have all the input, and then we need to sign, I think the law said again on 39, we need to sign a budget that we have to go back and amend it later. We need to do this or we're gonna get caught up in malfeasance and office. And I don't want to, like I say that again, I don't get caught up in that. You know, the job ain't that serious. When will we meet again where we can say, okay, here's something we can present to the public, or here's something we can present to the council. We haven't been presenting that to the public in the last 5 or 10 years, longer probably. But at least give the council a peace of mind that what we're signing on to, that we're comfortable with. Because when all stops, the buck stop here with this, these 5 councilmen, that they're gonna have to sign on to this budget and you know, and approve it. And when we need to meet, we got 9 days, and we ain't talking about showing up on the 29th or the 30th. We need to meet again in the next 48 hours. I think the charter allows it to meet in 8 hours notice. And I'm leaving it up to the chief executive officer, the mayor, to step forward and give us a date, because she did make a statement, she'll pay me a date. I'm trying to make myself a payment. This is a priority to this community. This is a priority to this community.
The budget will be done. Are there any other?
Well, I'm gonna call the
I
question.
have a question.
I'll call the question meeting. I do that way, man.
Yes, sir.
You don't want to do your job, I'm doing it.
I guess we pretty much sit up here and all of us have ideas and we come up with numbers. So the question I ask you is, by you listening to all of us, we have accurate numbers. So you're not for the police department? I'm just asking a question. Are you not for us trying to get the police back up to par?
Absolutely. We've been working on getting those numbers up for months. Ms. Goldman and the chief and I, we have been talking through this.
I'm so glad you said it, because the money there.
I was letting you all
Okay.
vent, say what you want to say.
So you're on the same page.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
No, we just asking because you haven't said, you know.
No, I didn't, because I wanted you to have an opportunity to say whatever you wanted to say, but we've been looking at this for months now.
Okay.
For months. And as I have said before, there's an inverse relationship. One thing goes up, the other thing goes down. And there are a lot of moving parts, there are variables, there are constraints, and it is the.
When you say moving parts, what moving parts are we?
There are things that have to be.
Let's talk about the police department. Those moving parts.
Okay. And plugging in numbers is just not a matter of, okay, I do the math off the top of my head. And this is what it came to. We have to take in consideration overtime. Overtime is time and a half. And in budgeting, and I don't want to sit here and lecture to anybody about it, but 31 slots, that was a number that was set, okay? That's full capacity at some point in time, okay? We were operating below that.
Right.
So the Budget Compliance Act dictates on how we budget money. You can't budget for less than a year. So it was budgeted with those 31 slots. So
Right.
now the slots have been lowered to, well, on this it said 20, wasn't it? It said 20. But as we started applying numbers, then it's more logical to say 25.
Yeah.
Because you have to anticipate those anomalies that occur that you don't, but no, please, don't think that I've been against the police department. I want them to have a raise.
Yeah, just not so much
I
of,
just didn't say anything.
yeah, well, I had to ask because, we speak about overtime, pretty much that's what we're paying the sheriff department, time and a half. So we already paying overtime.
Okay, and your point is well taken, Mr. D. Green, but it's because of that, those 31 slots that was available, that we had the money to engage the sheriff department.
Right.
When we fell short in our numbers, and I don't want the public to think that we are not adequately covered, because we're gonna make sure of that. Are there any more statements?
Just one more comment, Mayor, and I'm
Go
done.
ahead, Ms. Taylor.
I would like to task each chief. You know what you need. Nobody can tell you what you need in your house but you, but both chiefs. I need you to tell us what's gonna make your department be a success. What raises that each one of your employees need to come up to par and be fair. I think that's a task for each chief.
When will we meet again? Do I have to call a special?
As soon as we are able to plug in the numbers, giving the clerk's office adequate time to do and plug in numbers.
Wait a minute,
And I will let you know, because I have to be reasonable when you pass me. Wait, just a minute, let me speak.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
We have to be reasonable with human output.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Okay, what I'm saying, Ms. Golden, again, I'd like to have, I'm gonna make it in public meeting, I gave you a request in writing, you said do it in writing, you have it in writing, and you have it. And I know if you handle money daily, you should know each account is what's in your home. If you got a bank account, saving account, or 2 checking accounts, you should know that right off the top of your head. Now, that's not complicated, and I requested that. You said, whatever you want, Mr. Bradford, request it in writing, and I did that. And really, I feel y'all kicking me to the side, okay? And I'm gonna have the power to call a special meeting, I'm gonna talk to these other counties if they're willing to come. And maybe the next hour, what the charter requires us to do. Because we're not gonna just let this die, and then go into another fiscal year, and the chief and everybody out of the police department and the city still going through the same thing this time next August of next year. They need to know where they are, and we need to know where we are. Because if we are in malfeasance, they can walk in this door in a minute and take this councilman and this whole administration on charge. And it's a $5,000 fine or both 5 years in prison. I'm looking at the law. And I think we need to comply by the law. We need to meet, and we have to meet after this meeting, or meet after the meeting, because it's not done. It's not gonna get done if we meet and get it done. It's just gonna just go away. And here comes the 30th, less than 9 days here. We got 9 days to get this done and out. Filed, certified, and filed. Now, okay, I'll ask the council, I hope I can get 3 of you, don't need 3 of you.
I want to,
If the mayor can't come, she ain't gotta be here, we gotta vote to the mayor. I mean, we can't come over here. But administrators, I lost with me.
I just want to ask you, the mayor, since you chief administrator, you said the buck stops with you when it comes to your administration. When will we have this, but when will you be in compliance? When will the city of Bastrop be in compliance with this budget? I'm asking you, not Ms. Goldman, because Ms. Goldman is the city clerk. I'm talking about you. You said the buck stop was you, so I'm gonna ask you, when will this council, when will you have the budget prepared, so this council for review?
It will be prepared.
Can we set it for Tuesday, the meeting?
It's coming true. That's
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So why are here, what time?
What date is Tuesday? 27th.
You get that, okay?
Yes, sir, it will be the 27th.
27?
27th.
27? 3 days. You can see what it is.
It's 5:30, good.
That's why I said every time we go, you know how deep you want to get.
Mr. Bradford, you did get it in writing, but I do have three days to respond. I stopped last
I
night.
have in the morning, 8
Wait,
p.m.
let Ms. Goldman finish.
That's too late?
When you gave it to me,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I stopped last night and I made all those copies, but I told you this morning that I didn't have it all. I had somebody in my office with a meeting that was already planned, and I've been steady all day. But when you do a public records request, I have 3 days to respond.
Oh, okay.
When you did it, you expected me to have it yesterday, and I couldn't do it.
On the day before.
Yeah. So y'all need to, you quote the law, but it does say I have 3 days to respond.
Okay, thank you, so I'll keep that in mind.
Okay, I just, well, no, I wasn't intentionally ignoring you, I gave you what I had.
Thank you, Ms. Goldman, I appreciate it.
All right.
Keep it going, I appreciate it.
I'm free all day too.
Appreciate it.
So
It's
whichever,
5:30, Chief.
5:30.
that work for me.
I'll call Mr. Locke in the morning.
Okay.
Sure.
All right.
And that's the inspector.
But now, he did tell me next week, he might not be able to come, but I'm gonna call him.
And that means just to inspect the 23,
Yes, sir.
24 budget.
Yes, sir.
For the council.
Yes, sir, you're correct.
Okay, that's fine, so we'll have time 2 days out. Okay, fine, that's fine, that's all we ask.
The fewer distractions that Ms. Goldman has, the more she can concentrate. And the kinder and the decorum that we exhibit towards her certainly to sustain. She has a lot on her. We have a lot on us. Are there any other statements at this time? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I make a motion.
I said.
Properly moved and seconded. All in favor? Any opposed? This meeting is adjourned.